Boys and girls, welcome back. Welcome back. Happy Friday. It is Friday. Now you guys are probably asking Chaz, where the hell have you been at the last 2 days? My headphones broke. I actually just got some new headphones. They came in from Amazon today. So yeah, that's my bad. That's my bad. My headphones broke. Quick little story. I was walking. Obviously my desk is like right in front of me. And I tripped over the cord. And like the piece kind of like bent a tad bit. So that's unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. But listen, we're back. We're alive. We are going to check out the Ayrton Senna story again, but we are going to check out afterwards his death. Shout out to, I think, Andy Chats with the video. All credit goes to him. So we are going to check it out. We are going to see what's on, man. And should be a good one. Should be a very, very good one. Obviously, we know about everything that led to Senna's death. Like afterwards, like really how did the FIA look at things, F1, the drivers, stuff like that. Just really like the aftermath after his death. So without further ado, man, we just hop in. Don't forget to like the video and sub as well. Ooh. Let's get it. Is there a race this week? I'm not sure. I haven't really heard too much. I don't know. I think so though, but I honestly don't know.
1st of May 1994 marks a pivotal moment. Ayrton Senna has sadly passed away. The Formula One community is in shock. Brazil mourns, and the Williams team is devastated. With their superstar driver gone, Damon Hill stands as their sole representative. But does he have what it takes? Struggling under his newfound pressure, a chance encounter at Senna's funeral helps Hill find the focus he needs. Damon Hill stands in front of the press, and like every other Formula 1 driver's dream, he dreams of being a world champion, being the lead driver of a team, winning races and championships. And that's no different for Hill, even when your new teammate for the upcoming season is no other than the great Ayrton Senna, a 3-time world champion. Hill's realistic though. Even though he's only 6 months younger than Senna, they've both had different journeys to this stage of their careers.
And you know how much like pressure is on you to perform with a legend like Senna? Like, you gotta be on your A game, like every race, every like quality, practice, stuff like that, because Senna's gonna bring it. Like, Senna's gonna come with it every time. But with Damon Hill, like he's had a very good, solid career as well. But like, you have Senna. Like at this point,
this is Hill's second full season in Formula One. Hill's the son of the double world champion Graham Hill, who won the title in 1962 and 68. He was known as Mr. Monaco after winning the race 5 times there. It's safe to say that Hill grew up within the world of motorsport, attending races with his father, rubbing shoulders with his father's teammates, but surprisingly, Hill had no interest in racing himself. It wasn't until later on that he caught the bug, but not on 4 wheels, preferring to go bike racing instead. He didn't race his first car race until the age of 25.
Jeez.
In comparison, Senna was already in Formula 1 at this stage and had 2 wins to his name. With the lack of karting and late start, Hill would be playing catch-up with the majority of his career. Even with his lack of experience, Hill would still be listed with a chance of winning the 94 title. He's driving for Williams after all, a team that destroyed the field the previous 2 seasons with title-winning cars designed by the highly regarded Adrian Newey. On top of this, these cars had advanced electronic aids that their competitors just couldn't match. The cars were so good it persuaded Senna to take a pay cut to join the team. But for the 94 season, these electronic aids will be banned, and refueling would make a return for the first time in...
I'm not gonna cap, that car looks absolutely gorgeous. That Williams car again looks good, man. Maybe it's just that like that vintage lifestyle I'm thinking about, but like it goes crazy. It goes crazy.
10 years. Both changes were made to make the races more interesting, with refueling adding a new tactical element to the races. With Williams struggling from time to time to have a quick pit stop, it'll be interesting to see how they dealt with this addition of refueling. But even with these changes, Williams was still hot favourite to win the title. With a brand new sponsorship deal with Rothmans, Senna joining the team, Adrian Newey, Patrick Head, and obviously Alan Prost retiring, surely it'd just be a season of wins for Senna and Hill.
Pre-season testing. 2 months before, you know. So
that thought lasted until pre-season testing came along. It wasn't until the 24th of February that the new Williams was ready, much later than the other teams, notably the Benetton Ford, that a young Michael Schumacher would be driving in. As soon as the Williams hit the track, Hill knew there was a problem, a major problem. First of all, the car felt unfamiliar to him. Hill's career up to this point had been with driver aids. This was the first time without them, but the new car was porpoising a lot. It was also sensitive and twitchy with a small operating window. Hill explaining, you don't have to be very far out with the settings and suddenly the car's not competitive. The car felt even more unfamiliar to Senna. Coming from McLaren, this was his first experience of one of Adrian Newey's design traits, a cramped cockpit. Senna also didn't like the position of the steering wheel. After a pre-season test, Senna asked for more room in the cockpit and asked for the steering wheel to be raised. To the press, Senna was positive, but in private, he wasn't. He told his girlfriend at the time, I feel I have arrived here 2 years too late. The car drives funny. Going into the first race of the season, the Brazilian Grand Prix, it seemed that Williams had a rival after all, Michael Schumacher's Benetton. Senna being Senna though, he got pole. He was in front of his home crowd, he planned nothing else. Schumacher was second. Hill, who had been suffering with a chest infection and missed one of the 3 practice sessions, qualified 4th, 1.5 seconds slower than Senna. In the race, Senna and Schumacher shot off. No one could match their pace. Hill, remembering the DNF he had at the start of last year's campaign, went into conservative mode with the aim of coming away with some points. On top of that, Hill found the car undrivable in the slow corners, whilst in the quick ones, the car felt like it would go off at any moment. He found the car very unpredictable. With these difficulties, it was amazing that Senna was keeping the pace up with Schumacher, driving.
Now, the unpredictability with the car, stuff like that, like, obviously Damon Hill had issues. He said regarding to like turn, well, first of all, both him and Senna both had issues with the car. But it seemed like, I guess Senna's experience kind of kicked in, so Senna was able to use his experience, stuff like that, to make the car run better than what he did in his first race. Because, like you said, Damon Hill went conservative. Like, he's like, listen, let me just get my points, let me finish high and just go off of them. But like, I would assume like at some point, you know, this is gonna be like a full season thing. Like you can't really change the car the way that you want it to, because you race almost every week except for like the summer break or stuff like that. So that's really, really interesting when you like hear stuff like that, because like when drivers say like, when like my car can't do this or that, like they know it, like they're on it, like
100% all the time,
my car can't drive,
even with a twitchy car. Senna led up into lap 21 while both Senna and Schumacher pitted at the same time. The Benetton pit crew turning the car around quicker than the Williams. Williams' pit stop handicap seems to have followed them into this refueling era. Senna was still giving it his best until 5 laps until the end, when his car finally got the better of him.
God.
He spun and was out of the race there and then.
Jeez.
Schumacher went on to win, with Hill claiming second place, a lap down, but getting his campaign off to a better start than last year.
The Pacific Grand Prix.
The Pacific Grand Prix would hold the second race of the season, and again, Senna managed to get pole in front of Schumacher. Hill was third this time, only half a second off. Both Senna and Hill had spins in qualifying though, leading Senna to say, I really don't know what happened, it's odd that it happened the same for both of us. It was disappointing and frustrating because it looked silly and stupid. I feel very unhappy about it, but it's better that it happened today and not tomorrow.
Facts.
Unfortunately, tomorrow got worse. Senna was out at the first corner and Hill a retirement. Schumacher winning the race once again, already having a substantial margin in the championship table.
That's not
After
good.
2 races and Williams were already on the ropes, but nothing could prepare them for what was about to come. 2:17 p.m, the 1st of May 1994. We don't know it yet, but the world has just changed. One of the darkest weekends in Formula 1 history has just gotten so much darker. 24 hours after the death of Roland Ratzenberger, Ayrton Senna was leading the San Marino Grand Prix. He had qualified on pole, Schumacher was second, and with the Austrian flag in his car that Senna wanted to raise after the race to honour Ratzenberger, Senna was driving at his best. Everyone thought Schumacher's car was heavier than Senna's, but in fact, he was lighter. On lap 7, Senna left the track hitting the concrete wall at 130 miles per hour. Senna's front wheel coming down in front of Hill. As Hill drove past, he thought, oh fucking hell, not again. That's 3 retirements in 3 races. But then the red flags came out. Red flags only come out for something serious. There's confusion on the grid. Everyone's unsure of Senna's condition. They know it's serious, but how serious? There's also confusion for the cause of the accident. Was it driver error, or did a component fail? As Senna's loaded into the helicopter at 12:35 PM, the teams focus on the restart. Hill's been told that they're turning off his power steering as a precaution, resigning Hill to a difficult afternoon behind the wheel. Contact on the first lap didn't help things. The race was won by Michael Schumacher, his third in a row. Hill finishes a respectable sixth, but the race doesn't matter right now. By now, everyone knows that it's very serious for Senna. Journalists have already started writing their obituary in preparation for tomorrow's papers. At 6:40 PM, a doctor announces that Ayrton Senna has died, the greatest driver of his generation. The world's in shock.
I still can't even imagine like finishing the race. Like I know you have to like obviously finish the race, but like my head, like if I was Damon Hill, like my head would just be so far gone, because all I'll be thinking about is just my teammate. Maybe just really invite like all of the other drivers as well. But it just shows just how much like respect and like friendship and love all these drivers share together. Like to see like a fellow driver, a friend of yours, in a serious accident, like it's just, oh my god. Every time we talk about it or I hear about stuff like that, I always just feel like just uneasy, because it's like damn, it's just like damn.
Damon Hill's advised that the best thing for him to do is get away from Imola. There's a section at the airport cordoned off for the Williams team. The section's in silence. Everyone's distraught and numb as they come to terms with the day's events. It's hit them hard. Hill steps up and breaks the silence and says, "I just want you all to know that I will always trust your cars." Hill, pushing down his own feelings, started to feel that he had the responsibility to stand up and say that. Back home with his family, Hill wanted to grieve in private and reflect in peace and quiet. He wasn't sure if he was going to fly out to Brazil for Senna's funeral, but a phone conversation with Jackie Stewart gave him the answer that he was searching for.
Yeah, you got to.
Stewart raced in the same era as Hill's father, Graham, an era when far too many drivers passed away. Stewart persuaded Hill to go, explaining that if he didn't go, he'd always regret it.
Yeah,
going to Senna's funeral would turn out to be one of the best decisions he made that week. Senna was granted a full state funeral and 3 days of mourning. If you didn't know how much Senna was loved in his home country, you would do now. Brazilians were hit the hardest with Senna's death. It just didn't feel real. How could the greatest of all time go like this? Senna was invincible, so we all thought. Back at the hotel,
bro.
Hill's approached by two fans for his autograph. As Hill signs his name, they say to him, "Brazil will be watching you now." Hill choked with emotion.
Facts.
He realised that because Senna raced for Williams, Williams had become part of their life, and by association, Hill was part of it too.
Yeah. Facts. You gotta turn up now and do it for
Hill
Senna,
didn't have to wait long to pay them back. Up next was the Monaco Grand Prix, a race Hill's father, Graham, won 5 times. In an eerie coincidence, Graham Hill had a similar experience to Damon back in 1968. Back then, Graham had a star driver teammate by the name of Jim Clark, a 2-time world champion and a driver regarded as the greatest of his generation.
He passed away.
Sadly, Clark lost his life early on in the season. It left the Lotus team in despair, and with their team principal Colin Chapman seriously considering giving up his racing. This made Graham determined to win the next race, the Spanish Grand Prix, which he went out and did. Chapman, making a U-turn, decided he would see out the rest of the season to see how he felt, and he continued racing. Could Damon repeat what his father achieved? That morale-boosting win, especially with the race being at Monaco. It couldn't all be a coincidence, right? Williams confirming that no replacement would be sought for this race. Hill would be the sole representative. For the first time in his career, he'd be the lead driver of a top Formula 1 team, their main focus. Everything would be on his shoulders now. No star teammate to absorb all the attention from within and out.
That's a lot of responsibilities though for Hill, for Damon Hill. Like, you have the death of Senna weighing on you. Now you are the top lead driver for Williams, who's one of the best teams back then. Then, like you said, like, you have all Brazil basically watching you and like following you because also Senna was your teammate. And like, now Senna isn't here with us no more. You know, you're basically our, like, I guess, like, Senna to a degree. Like, we're gonna support you. You know, like, we're all gonna be watching you now. Like, that's a lot of responsibilities on you, on one person, man.
Williams are in need of a morale boosting result. It's been an emotional couple of weeks, and to top it off, there's been allegations in the press about the steering column causing Senna's crash, with potential criminal charges to follow. It's hit Adrian Newey hard. A driver's just died in one of his cars, unsure whether he wants to continue with the sport. A good result in Monaco will go a long way in helping everyone in the team. With qualifying done, Schumacher qualified on pole. Hill was 4th, 2nd was Hakkinen, and Berger 3rd. Patrick Head, the co-founder of Williams, making it clear that he wasn't terribly impressed with Hill's driving. A podium would be a respectable finish from 4th. Hill made a good start. Hakkinen moved to the right to block Berger, so Hill moved to the left of the two. But Hakkinen comes back to the left. Contact! Hill's out at the first corner. A race that Williams desperately needed to get a good result from, with Hill the sole representative, and is out. It's another blow to the Williams team, and another blow to Hill's attempt to be the team leader of the team, especially with Patrick Head showing a lack of confidence in him. And on top of that, there's rumours in the press that Rothmans are after a star driver replacement for Senna. Prost has turned down coming out of retirement, stating that, out of respect to Senna, I would never take the seat in his car. Nigel Mansell, the 1992 world champion, is another star name floating around. But for now, Williams' test driver and rookie will get the seat for the next race, the Spanish Grand Prix.
He's gotta step up, man.
With David Coulthard getting his debut in the team, Hill really needs a good showing to prove he can be a team leader and again to boost morale of the team, just like his father did 26 years ago at the 1968 Spanish Grand Prix. With qualifying done, Schumacher qualifies first and Hill comes in a much improved 2nd place. It's game on. On a sunny race day, everyone takes the cars out for a morning warm-up session, basically a pre-race practice session. Everything's going well until Hill loses it and spins.
Oh my god.
The Williams pit wall not looking impressed once again. With so much at stake, Hill can't risk another poor race.
And he has got to step up, bro. Hill's got to step up now.
So as the lineup on the grid, anything other than a good result is needed by Hill. Another spin, contact, or DNF would shatter any confidence the team has in him. Starting from 2nd, it's important Hill maintains his position off the start. As the lights go green, Schumacher makes a good start. Hill, not so good. But the main thing is that he doesn't lose any positions. Mission accomplished as they reach the first corner. It's Schumacher, Hill, and then Mika Hakkinen in his McLaren. As the first stint goes along, Schumacher's pulling away from Hill, but it looks like Hakkinen is quicker than the Williams driver. Hill's hoping the McLaren has less fuel than him because he'll be screwed if it doesn't. It looks easy for Hill to keep the car behind, so it may come down to the pit crew, but that's another worry. We all know how slow the Williams pit crew can be at times. Hakkinen pits, pretty much confirming is lighter than Hill. Wow, a 7.4 second stop, that's the fastest of the day so far. As Hakkinen rejoins the track, McLaren team is surely feeling confident they've taken the position. Hill pits a few laps later. The Williams team have 7.4 seconds as their target. Let's see what they can do. A 9-second stop. Yet another slow pit stop for Williams. Or is it? Have Williams put more fuel in their car? Williams are going for a 2-stop strategy. Hakkinen may be going for 3 stops. Schumacher pits from the lead. It looks like he's got the race in the bag. With no pressure, the pit crew still pull out a 7.6 second stop. Schumacher holding the lead as he comes out the pits. It's now Schumacher from Hakkinen and then Hill. Hang on, is Schumacher about to be unlapped? He's slowing. It looks like he's got a problem. Not sure what the issue is, but Hakkinen's closing and about to take the lead. It looks like Schumacher's stuck in 5th gear. Yes, look, he's not changing gear.
That's not good.
Hill now takes 2nd place from the injured Schumacher. It's now down to strategy. If Hakkinen's on a 3-stop, it's Hill's race. But whatever happens, Schumacher's having an amazing race right now.
Come on,
Hakkinen pits, confirming his 3-stopping. It's now Hill's race to lose. The order's now Hill, Schumacher, and then Hakkinen, with all 3 of them having one more pit stop to go. Hill now pits for his 2nd and final pit stop. There's no pressure on the pit crew. All they have to do is have a clean pit stop and bring the race home. A 5.8 second stop, 4 seconds faster than the previous.
That's crazy.
Williams have finally pulled out a fast pit stop.
Finally.
But was it too fast? Did enough fuel get into the car? Schumacher and Hakkinen have completed the last stops. Hill keeps the lead, but will Hill need to stop again? Patrick Head is concerned. He's walked to the pit wall to ask if all the fuel went in. Everyone says yes, but Head replies, it seems a very quick stop. Are you sure? With Schumacher having issues and Hakkinen not having the pace, all Hill has to do is finish the race. But an extra stop now will drop him down to 3rd place. Ian Harrison and John Russell on the pit wall, who are both now nervous, are frantically going through the data to check the figures. The data confirming that everything was in the car. But with so much on the line, Patrick Head wasn't convinced. The Williams team that dominated Formula 1 the previous 2 seasons now haven't won a race in 8 months. The tragedy of Senna's death, the allegations in the press, the pressure mounting. Finally, Ian Harrison says, look Patrick, it's not the bloody rig, it's not on the floor, so it's in the bloody car. And
hey, sometimes you just need to tell them, shut the hell up, we got it. Like, it's in the car. Sometimes you need to just say that. It's in the car.
He was right. When Williams needed it the most, to prove that they can still do it, they pulled off a quick pit stop. And with Hakkinen's car now retired, all that's left now is for Hill to bring it home for an emotional victory, just like his father had done in the same race 26 years earlier. Adrian Newey and the Williams pit crew are in tears. They needed this.
That's amazing. They needed that
As
win.
Damon Hill sits in front of the press, it's safe in the knowledge that he won the 1994 Spanish Grand Prix for the people of Brazil, for the people in the team, for his father, and most importantly for himself, proving to all that he may not be Senna, but that he's now ready to lead the Williams team.
Nah, shout out Damon Hill for that, bro. Oh God, you can just see like, obviously that Williams car had some issues leading up to Senna's death. And there's a lot of blame. You know, you can see why people put a lot of blame on Williams, because it's like, you know, your car basically caused Senna's death. And, you know, look at Adrian Newey, you know, one of the great, you know, racing car engineers, whatever, in Formula 1. And just the amount of stress and pressure was on the Williams team since then. But most specifically for Damon Hill. For Damon Hill to go through, you know, the Monaco mishaps and like the other, like, race mishaps, and then win the Spanish Grand Prix in such an emotional, crazy fashion. I mean, that's the beauty of F1, you know, to overcome odds, to overcome adversity, stuff like that. But Damon Hill, man, shout out to his Williams team. Damn, I felt good. Jeez. Hope you guys did enjoy videos. Always don't forget to like the video and sub as well. Take care, stay amazing, be safe, be great. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.